Kelly, let's ask you, because you think you've sort of gone beyond and say it's disgusting.
Yeah, I think I can't believe we're even having the discussion that in anybody's mind it is ever acceptable to get a potty out in the middle of a restaurant and let a child go in it. And I agree to a certain extent that we shouldn't be encouraging children to hold it in, and when they need to go, they need to go. But, where do you draw the line? That, if you've got elderly people or sick people who also have, special toileting needs, would it also be acceptable for them to, have a poo in the middle of the restaurant?
Like that, for example, and something happened in a restaurant,
exactly.
I wouldn't be outraged and disgusted.
No,
I'd be like, oh, well, that's a situation that obviously...
This is it. OK, and when people do have those needs, they're kind of, they're prepared for them, aren't they? And they use adequate protection in case things like that happen. And I think that when you've got children who you are potty training, firstly, don't make plans to go to a restaurant during that time, but secondly, make sure you are prepared for accidents.
You can't not go out the house when you're potty training.
No, you can't, but generally, but I think what most people tend to do, you do it in the summer, you plan some time to do it.
We'd have picked a restaurant, we'd have, thought, right, OK, that's a suitable one, that's great with kids, there's a nice clean loo out the back, that's quite good. Can we have a table near the loo? It's not rocket science.
No, it's not, but you can't always choose your table in a restaurant. And, we've all had children on this sofa.
It's a 2-second walk from wherever you are.
But that's all it
None of them
takes.
are that big.
That's all it takes for an accident, and then they're in the middle of the restaurant, wet and dry.
I had it in a shop the other day, and obviously not all shops have bathrooms, and I had my little potty with me that for Chester, because obviously this was when he wasn't quite fully trained, and he needed to go. And he went, wee, mummy, and I went, right, OK. And I said to the lady, is there a bathroom here? She went, no, it's only staff only. And I went, fine. I went, do you mind if I use his potty? And I went round behind the wellies, it was in a shoe shop, and put the potty down, and she went, oh, would you mind coming with me? Maybe you could do that in the storeroom. And I was like, he's going to... If he wets himself, he wets himself.
What I'm saying. This
and I took him, and we went into the storeroom, and I thought, it's really bizarre, isn't it, that I can go in the storeroom and let him use a potty, but I wasn't allowed to use the staff toilet for a child that was potty. And I found that a bit... I thought that was a different thing entirely.
Isn't that totally acceptable? The difference is, and what has got so many people talking about this aspect of potty training is the fact that your child is sitting on a potty having a poo in a restaurant.
And there's no consideration for anybody else.
Well, I think in a shop there are places to go. That's absolutely fine.
But doing it in a restaurant, you've got to think about other people, and it's kind of like, I don't know, to me, it just totally smacks of this kind of, sense of entitlement, performance parenting that we all seem to be totally subjected to all the time now, and other people's children's needs come before anybody else.
Well, I think they do. I'm in my house, and I potty train lots of children. I always say to the parents, just go with it. Don't trap yourself in your home. Don't, that some people say to me, right, OK, I'm going to stay in for a week because I'm potty training. That's ridiculous, because as soon as you go outside with your child that's potty training, they think it's abnormal because they're used to training inside the house. So
you do need to keep your life.
You've just got to keep your life as normal as possible and let them be part of your life.
But you mentioned people, you're a professional potty trainer, that people do contact you and they pay you £2,000. You go round to their house, you live with them for a week, and you potty train their child, so they can't even be bothered to do it themselves.
No, it's not being bothered. I mean, these people have tried, and I don't know if you've seen the latest report, but they're saying that 70% of children are going to primary school unpotty trained. So, if I can make a difference out there, and I think there is a big problem with potty training, that there's not enough out there about it, and it's getting worse. So these poor children are going to school, traumatised.
And we've got to be cruel here. You've got to be honest and say that that didn't happen 20 years ago.
The other problem is
so we're just getting lazy. We can't even be bothered to teach them how to use a potty.
We're getting nervous to go out and potty train our kids in public because everybody's being outraged and disgusted by seeing a child.
But the thing is, how many times have we seen it, though? I mean, I think it's a relatively new thing that we are seeing potties being sort of like, whipped out everywhere. I mean, I never saw it sort of like 5-10 years ago. Certainly when I was toilet training my son, I never saw people sort of like wandering around with potties. But I was talking to a friend who works with preschoolers, and she was saying that children become so over-reliant on the potty that when she's dealing with them in her nursery provision, they're terrified of the toilet. The only way they will actually go is on a potty in the middle of the room, surrounded by everybody else. So it's kind of like almost instilling this real toilet fear.
That's a natural
really.
I mean,
it's kind of like, they're terrified of using the actual big toilet, and it's kind of like this reliance on the potty.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I just think, parents are working. More and more parents are going out there and working now, and there's different childcare. They're going to nursery, they're going home, and there's no consistency. I think that's all it's about. And, hopefully, with what I'm doing and talking about it here today will make a difference and get those people working together. That's the only problem I see, is, they go to nursery, they're doing their best job there, they come home, the parents are tired, they're busy, they stick a nappy on, and they regress again. That's, you know, the only thing I see. But I think as parents, we're all trying our hardest. I don't blame the parents.
But none of that's justification for pulling a potty out in the middle of a restaurant where other people are eating. And surely there's kind of like there's a health and safety issue. There must be.
It's called bringing up your child and letting them be free, you know. And I think that I'm not saying
without any consideration for anybody else, people sitting a few feet away eating their dinner. It's fine for somebody to then do a poo while somebody else is eating.
Okay, so what happens when you walk in a high street and a dog's doing it?
That's a bit different. I'm not generally sitting there eating my meal on the high street when a dog's having a poo.
Well, they do go. I mean,
let's leave it there.
For more of the same, just click here. And don't forget, you can subscribe for even more of these amazing videos exclusive to our channel.
At 71 stone, if you reach your goal, how would you get to the food without help?
There's plenty of men who would love to be in Sid's position, so I
have people message me every day of just about, you're so lucky, you're so lucky.